We're live. Yeah. All right, everyone. Welcome back to Odys Talks. It's going to be an exciting conversation. And before we start, I'll just remind everyone to subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed yet. Video because this way more people will get to see it, whether live or it's recorded. And yeah, it's uh, I don't know where to start. I'm just really excited to have cool people uh, talking stuff about SEO domains, affiliate marketing, because each is a powerhouse in their own right. So yeah, before our today's participants introduce themselves, I'll just introduce them myself. So today we have Israel Godet, Flawless SEO, Jason Mills of the Affiliate School, and Angelo Sorbello of Link Delta, who also is a certified Odys mentor. Uh, uh, so yeah, let's just dive in. It's loading.
Gentlemen, we are live. Ladies.
So yeah, guys, welcome to Odys Talks. We finally made it. Cozy sausage party today. So yeah, going guys, because obviously our audiences are intersecting right now, and some listening right now might not know some of you. So go on, whoever wants to go first.
I can
Go on,
start.
Angelo.
Let's go.
Sorry,
Yeah.
go on, Israel.
Okay, well, so my name is Roel Godet. I started to do affiliate marketing 10 years ago. So since I'm living from affiliate marketing, 3 years ago I started my own SEO agency as well, Flawless SEO, and focused really on semantic SEO for about 1 year, which typical truth is gaining really more momentum and importance in the SEO. So that's where I am right now.
Okay, I'll
Cool.
go next. So my background was in teaching. I used to be a secondary school teacher up until about 8 or 9 years ago. Stumbled into blogging with a fantasy football blog, and then kind of self-taught SEO really, and followed a few courses online. Did a little bit of freelance SEO work, which I still do a little bit, although I'm starting to move away from that. And now essentially stumbled into niche websites, predominantly affiliate marketing with niche sites. I've got a portfolio of I think I've got 10 sites now. And yeah, having some really good success at the moment. So yeah, all good. And obviously the affiliate school as well, where I try and share tips and case studies and that sort of stuff.
Cool.
Awesome.
Awesome.
And I'm Angelo, and currently run linkdelta.com, which is an SEO agency and a AI writing tool. I started doing SEO many years ago with a small project. I was just a kid, and I started writing about video games. Eventually, I wanted people to read my stuff, so I discovered SEO, and I sold that project when I was 18, and then I ran some projects on expired domains, on age domains as well, and sold a couple of them, one on Empire Flippers, and now help people be successful on with age domains as well through Odys mentorship. And I run this portfolio as well of affiliate sites, and obviously the agency and tool that I mentioned before.
Yeah. By the way, we've had a great conversation with Angelo back in January or February. All this
Yes.
podcast. So if you wanna listen to it or watch it, you can find it on the channel, or you can find it on Spotify or any other streaming platform uh, where they have podcasts. uh, so yeah. All right, guys. A lot of things are going on in the industry right now, and especially yeah, tools and stuff. I mean, uh, just we've started using Opus Pro just a few days back, and well, I personally am just astounded by the tool. It's just video. Well, you provided with a link. You feed it a link to the video, to a video you need, right? It 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 in the background and then cuts it into 15 short reels. Just editing them, editing. So you can edit the captions and stuff, but it's just so helpful and really up to. And it's just like a particular example of what uh, I stumbled upon in terms of this new AI powered tool. But there are so many things in the on the SEO side of things, like Surfer AI, ChatGPT itself, and things. So yeah, I've been asking this question pretty much everyone I got to talk to on Odys Talk. So I'm gonna ask you, you as well. How did it change your work in particular? I mean, maybe some approaches have altered to more optimized things. Maybe you've stumbled upon some made it harder for you for your business, for affiliate marketing, site building and stuff. Uh, how did it?
I'm happy to go first.
How's it going for you so far? Go on,
to be honest, Vlad, I've not changed my process that much as yet. I think we were just having this chat off air that some of us feel that from a content writing point of view, AI possibly isn't quite there, particularly for the types of content that I create. Because a lot of my stuff is affiliate, it's a lot of buyer's guides, a lot of review type content, and anything where it needs to kind of add in that experience, it seems to struggle with that. Where I want to kind of go with it is to use it to build out the more kind of question and answer type stuff, particularly to build out topical authority quickly. So I think I just said I want to start a new site, possibly on an age domain, and look to build out a massive topical cluster or maybe 5 or 6 topical clusters very, very quickly, try and get some traction, and then build in some human written content alongside it. Where I've used it mostly so far is to help with things like keyword research. So ChatGPT, for example, helping it to kind of trim down keyword lists and stuff like that. And it's really good for that. I think like the example you mentioned there, I've used a similar tool to create shorts for the affiliate school channel, and it's phenomenal how much time it can save you. And I think if when you find those types of things that can then apply to multiple areas of your business, so if we can get it right with content, it can be a game changer. And I know there are people doing that. I've tested a few, like I've tested Koala, I've tested Surfer, Neuron Writer, things like that. And yeah, it's getting there, but I think you've just got to be selective with the type of content that you use it for at the moment.
Yeah.
If I can go with me.
Sure.
At first, when they started with GPT-3, I was not interested at all. The hype was around a lot the AI content, and I was not a fan of that, so I barely did not use it until GPT-4 has been released, and I have seen the enormous potential of using this. I use it for analysis, data analysis. It's just crazy how much things you can do with that. I started to use GPT-4 with ChatGPT to build some basic script in Python, and really started to like it. But after some time, I really needed to move to a pro developer to do my script. But yeah, I do use a lot of AI for data manipulation because we save a lot of time. We can analyze a lot of data super quickly. So for me, it's already I have been able to improve my process. But yeah, that's really more for data analysis than for anything else.
We've actually just created a piece of content where we used Bard for it, because it's got access to the internet. And one of my writers used it to scrape data on I think it was supermarket shopping prices or something like that for May, and managed to really put together some decent content when we cross-referenced it against prices that we manually went out and doubled and cross-referenced. It was actually surprisingly accurate. So, and I was actually really surprised at that. And then editor can go in and make nice data visuals and things. And yeah, so I think for data in particular analysis, it's very, very powerful, and it can get through a lot of content in a fraction of the time that we could do it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think the question marketers, SEOs, entrepreneurs should ask themselves, and business owners in general, is how can I use this technology and these tools to create something of value for others? So it's not just about, like, I think many people are looking for a hack constantly, and AI obviously was a huge one. It was like, oh, now let's go publish 50 new websites of spammy content. And it's like, is it really sustainable? Like, you have to interlink those articles anyway. This is the first question that I will ask myself at the very least, and or check the CTA and all of that. And it's like, the first time I realized that it was actually useful was when I used it with to help a buddy of mine who is a cybersecurity consultant and wanted to start a cybersecurity blog. And I did the keyword research for him, with like essentially the whole topical cluster and map of things to cover around cybersecurity and vulnerability assessment, all of that. And ChatGPT and through that was ChatGPT and Jasper back then, created all of this content, and then he reviewed it. Like, he went through it and actually fact check it and edit it. So it took him so much less, and you still have some content that was reviewed by someone and edited by someone with 10 years of experience. So in that case, it was more of a productivity tool for him. So I do think that it can be very helpful, as Jason mentioned, to cover a topical map quicker, especially if you don't have a lot of resources, or if you want to test a new age domain, a new niche, or a new cluster on your website. Could be interesting to see how you can rank and eventually improve upon it. It works better on informational content compared to buyer's guide and commercial keywords. So I do think it changed a lot for me. Obviously, we also run the tool, so a lot of affiliate owners, all affiliate site owners use our tool for their sites. I see how they use it. Sometimes I get ideas on how they use it. It changed a lot for me. I'm publishing way more and way faster just because we now have editors, but it wouldn't work. It doesn't work so well in certain industries. Like if you were talking about pets, the case study that we published, also on ODYS, it was around pets. It's easier to go on it and write about pets and have somebody review that they're not something potentially harmful for a pet. So yeah, I would say it got us more productive for sure. That's the thing that helped me the most, productivity.
Yeah, and Israel, you well, not just mentioned, you actually emphasized that it's super helpful for analyzing and processing amounts of data, large amounts of data. I guess it's really helpful, in particular in topic cluster work, right?
Yeah, of course. That is essential in any content strategy.
Okay, could you elaborate on that?
Oh yes, I can. Let's say that there's a lot of confusion about typical critique. Some people think that they just have to write a lot of content about specific topics to gain typical critique, which is true partially. Let's say example that you have. We'll talk about the project Lazzaroli, the domain name. Which so let's say that you want to talk about Italian foods. So you have lots of people, let's say for our recipes website, we talk about recipes, and they think that if they just cover a lot of recipes, they will become the typical on Italian recipes website, but that's not really how it's work, because you really have to show to Google that you have an expertise. So to know how to make your whole home your own pasta, you need to understand the different type of wheat, flour, all those stuff. So you really have to elaborate on all those stuff to explain to Google. Okay, I know the different type of the wheat, flour, so I know which type of pasta require which type of flours and all the stuff. And then once you have shown to Google that you have all that expertise, now you increase your difficulty. So I think that's an issue that a lot of people probably don't grab it yet. That really have to go more than just on keyword and phrases research. So it's not because you want to get into recruit on pasta that you just have to cover all keywords on pasta and okay, voila, I got my difficulty. That's not really how it works. You really have to go much wider than this.
Well, and
That
Angela
is.
sitting there listening to pasta and thinking, I'm the only person knowing how to do that.
Exact. It always comes down to pasta when with Italians.
Yeah. Does forming topic clusters differ much from the let's trend of gaining topical authority in maybe in some nuances or particular, or is it pretty much the same?
Can you repeat the questions? I just want to sure that I grab it correctly.
Okay, sure. So, is the process of
Yeah.
gaining topical authority, let's say, major trend today, in particular, does it differ from shaping topic clusters in details, or is it pretty much the same thing?
I think it's been years that the same process should be. Tuberculosis is not something that it just appears that year. It's just that it has been really hyped recently, more recently in the past months, that a lot of people just started to realize how much effective it was, and then everyone is talking about it. But the concept of tuberculosis exists for years, especially when Google started to integrate BERT and semantic has been take a big role of that. So now that Google understands and knows how to make the relationship between the topics, is where topiculture has gained really uh, more importance. So it's a few years already that topiculture is super important. But I think that in the past years, Google has made a really big improvement on that way, and it's more important than it was probably a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
think it
that
starts with the
makes sense.
cluster. I think it starts with the keyword research,
Yeah.
of course, and that's really important. But ultimately, to become a topical authority requires so much more, and we all know links, the whatever you view EEAT as, that is one of the ways in which you're going to develop that topical authority. And it's when you're seen as a topical authority that you'll know when you've got topical authority, because you'll just publish a post on a relatively difficult keyword, and it will go page one or two straight away, mainly page one. So that's when you gain topical authority. But to get that, yes, it starts with the semantically linking everything and or your keyword research, your clusters, or your cluster, but it requires everything else as well to ultimately get there.
Yeah.
So
Jason
so
is right. The orders has a big role as well, because the more content your orders will cover on the specific topics on your website, the more typical duty these orders will have. So there's a lot of factors that have an impact of your typical duty. It's just not about the content, but it's also about the orders. So it is has a big role as well there. Yeah.
mm-hmm. So these are pretty much parts of the same ecosystem.
Yeah, you need everything really, don't you? And that's why I've really doubled down on brand building over the last 12 months, which I think a lot of people have done. And I think that is ultimately, you talk about a niche site, I prefer to go with the term authority site, because really that is what you're trying to create. You're trying to become the authority on a particular topic. If you think back 3 or 4 years ago, you could have really vague websites or sites that hit a broad range of topics. You tend to see less of that now, unless they are super authority sites like Wirecutter and things like that. The average Joe like myself is going to be creating a niche site, but trying to make it an authority.
Yeah, and we have seen that all of those journalistic websites, they tanked, many of them. They were kind of pretty much like ticking bombs, while pretty much very small sites, sometimes they cover like a small niche, or I don't know, a small supplement niche, very well with good internal links and helpful content. They were outranking the biggest sites. So it was either like, I think nowadays it's either you go and create a brand, or you try to become extremely huge around a certain niche. In the US, it's even more challenging to do than other countries. Like in Italy, it's still doable, but in the US, you perhaps have to fundraise at that point to be that huge in certain niches that are actually profitable. So yeah.
Yeah,
And
we do still see. We do still see these big parasite publications. Deccan Herald, and it used to be SF Gate, didn't it? And that one seems to have gone now for certain niches. But I think that just shows. Yes, we're all looking for a shortcut, but also it shows that links are still a massive, massive ranking factor, and that's how they gain their authority. But because people are often using it as a shortcut, they're not using particularly great content. So that's where your smaller sites can do well, because you can have fantastic content, you can be really tight with your topical cluster, and you can still get a decent you can still have a decent link building effort. So in a way, us as niche site owners or small authority site owners, we have an advantage over those. Yes, it's sometimes really frustrating when you see a massive parasite piece on page one, but I've got examples where I am ranking amongst them, and it'll be 8 out of 10 on page one will be high DA newspaper sites like Outlook India and things like that. But then there's me. It's in the middle somewhere, and so you can do it. It's perfectly possible. Yeah, so I think in a way we do have that small advantage. And then the other thing is we can all do parasite ourselves, so you can have multiple things ranking on page one. I think you've got to. I think that's the thing. You've just got to go with what works, and it will change. It's always changing. But I do think Google are going more towards wanting these niche specific sites to do well. I think they just struggle algorithmically to reward the right types of sites without completely destroying the entire newspaper industry online. So.
Yeah, but the trend has been there. Like these big newspapers have gone up and up over the last updates, and you see also in foreign niches like Germany, for instance, you see the biggest German newspapers ranking for VPN keywords now,
Yeah.
and so the trend is going there. And I think the question is what we can do to enter the space, to compete in this space in the best way. For sure, backlinks are more important than ever. Google has so much pressure nowadays, and it's gonna have even more pressure with this flood of AI content to show something that is actually trustworthy, credible, that there are there is no misinformation in the content. So backlinks and, for instance, having your site built on H domains, we are all here brought together by Odys, and it gives you that authority side so that then you can focus on the home page. Whether you build the links yourself or not, or you buy an H domain or you do digital PR yourself, these quality links are going to be more and more important to and building up this brand, these other signals like branded searches, actually low bounce rate, all of these signals of a good brand. Like we are moving more and more there, and Google is more and more capable. So my take is, instead of going against the stream, is how can we build something valuable that Google actually can value. Google is not always perfect. Sometimes it out make bad, like horrible sites outrank actually useful ones. But yeah, I would say that that's more or less what we should do to compete these days.
Yeah. I just I had a question. I was just listening to you guys, and this question just disappeared.
You've even got a pen in your hand. You should have written it down.
Oh yeah, yeah. I got a pen in my head. I was intending to take some notes, but it's just I'll just have to go back to the recording of this live stream and later. So yeah, Jason, you mentioned that you are originally a teacher, and I mean, I could say that because from the way you talk, like his job, but the teacher inside of you will not
Yeah,
leave
probably,
you.
yeah.
I mean, just even the concept of the affiliate school just seems so so simple but so accurate, because a lot of people out there, like high profile SEOs as well, just teaching are teaching others, whether on YouTube or selling ebooks or on their social media pages, whatever. But the entire concept of the school is so, how do I put it? It's just so streamlined. How did you just realize that you could combine the new thing about niche sites? I mean, for you, when you started doing them, or teachers' experience.
I think it was accidental, to be honest, and probably a little bit of boredom, because it can be a very lonely existence, can't it? Just sitting here creating niche sites, writing, editing, liaising with those working parts. And I think it was just that, really. But to be honest, I've loved it, and I genuinely think it's had a massively positive impact on my performance as an affiliate marketer. And I think the reason for that is it's forced me to reflect on my processes and what I do. And sometimes you'll put stuff out and people will call you out on it. I mean, 99% of the time, everyone is lovely, but you don't necessarily want that. You want people to go, oh, did you think about this? Or why did you say that? That doesn't make sense. So that's been massively helpful for me. And I think, yeah, in the time that I've run the affiliate school, and I didn't know what was going to happen. I thought, I think my target was, I mean, it's still a small channel, but my target was about, I think, 1,000 subscribers probably in about 18 months, and it way surpassed that. So that was great. Just to not be talking to myself is a good thing, because that's always the worry, isn't it? But yeah, it's been a good process, and I mean, ROI in terms of me, the amount of time I spend on it and what I get back from the affiliate school, just from a basic monetary point of view, it's not worth my time. But in terms of, I think, how much it's made me self-reflect on my, like I say, my processes and everything, I think it's well worth it for that. And I've got involved in Twitter a bit more in the last 12 months. I found that quite a good space to be for niche sites in particular. And before that, I didn't really get involved in anything online for discussion. I was in some private groups, but nothing that was just open and out there. So didn't follow any YouTube channels or anything like that. Whereas now, every day, my lunchtime, I watch I'll have lunch, 20 minutes, half an hour, and I'll just sit and watch a YouTube video and learn something. And it might not always be SEO, it might not always be niche sites, it might be on property or tax or something else. But I like to try, or video editing was the one that I did a lot of when I started the channel. Yeah.
Cool. And how does it fit in your particular site building? Yeah, in your site building and affiliate marketing.
Sorry, say that again.
how does running the affiliate school fit into your
Well,
site building and affiliate marketing schedule?
I think I spoke briefly with you about this off air. One of the big things I've done in the last since I met you at Affiliate Gathering was so in the last month is bringing in new work, new processes. So I've just hired a new editor. I'm getting her to work 20 hours a week across my portfolio. So that's 20 hours a week that I've now got back in my life. So I realized that I was the bottleneck in my entire system. So like I said, I've got 10 sites and I've got 4 or 5 writers, and I just started a new site as well. And this one I want to build quickly, and it's building it into a brand. I just found that I was the one that was proofreading and editing and formatting and putting all the affiliate buttons in and getting all the imagery and everything. And I was just a bottleneck in it. So to run the affiliate school alongside that was really, really difficult. Whereas now I'm still in the process of kind of training her up and potentially bringing in another person as well. But I think in a couple of months' time, that system is pretty much just going to run itself. So whereas I was probably working 6 hours a day on my portfolio. Now I can probably work 30 minutes a day. So, and from a cost point of view, it's going to cost me, I think it's going to cost me about 1,500 quid. So maybe $2,000 a month. But what I'm getting back from that is just, yeah, it's worth way more. It means I can go on holiday and not worry about, oh, have I published this, or have this writer been spoken to, or whatever. It's all just happening there in the background. So that's helped, and I think that's hopefully going to help progress my portfolio to the next level, and to maybe take it from 10 sites to 20 sites or 30 sites.
Cool. So delegating matters. I guess
Massively.
next week we're going to have quite a few conversations delegation, because next week we're going to have Matt's Singers as one of the participants. The pro on that. Yeah, that sounds really promising. Just getting that time back to yourself and then putting it to some other use than just taking care of things all by yourself. Speaking of Angelo, so you're running Link Delta, and which is an SEO agency. How much delegation do you have to deal with?
The funny thing, I was hanging out with Matt about 3 weeks ago, or
Oh,
about a
nice.
month ago in Milan, and every time I hear him, I'm like, I should delegate way more. It's always I always have this feeling. I listened to his talk at the conference there in Milan, and I'm like, damn it, I'm not delegating enough. It's obviously very hard. I think in SEO. If you're actually good, you're probably running your own site or your own agency. So um, it's hard sometimes to find the right person and to help you out. So it's always ups and downs, really. Some people then lose motivation. I try to train people from the ground up that I found on Facebook groups, on Affiliate Lab, and all of that. It's always like a work in progress. And an agency can be extremely demanding. It's always like learning curve of learning how to deal with clients, to set some boundaries and all of that, and at the same time manage to get results for them. So it's always work in progress. I would say I don't know if anyone actually figured it out. So yeah.
True.
Yeah. Was once again, just what a particular question that appeared in my mind just a second ago, and it slipped away. Uh, so yeah, how does it fit with your new Odys mentorship?
In general, I'm a very extroverted person, so I enjoy having talks and eventually giving advice. When you guys asked me to be a mentor on the platform, I was like, oh, that's cool because when I got started in this journey, I didn't have anybody to ask questions. And I actually bought domains from Odys, so it's not like I will recommend something that I wouldn't use myself. And so yeah, I it's not too time consuming for me, I would say. And it's interesting to see how you guys structure things in your business, Alex and your team. You guys are great. Like how you manage things and all of that. It's fascinating to see for me. You actually can move. I think you built something great, like a great business and brand in the industry. So I was also curious to learn more about how you guys organize stuff. Oh, now on my everyday life, it's just fun, like to talk with some of your clients, users, and see if I can help them in some way.
Well, speaking of the way things are structured, Alex is the mastermind. So if you have any questions about that, you can message him directly. And the thing you mentioned about having built sites of Odys domains, this was actually uh, one of the main criteria about joining the mentorship program, because we wanted our mentors to act, to not just I don't know, advise on things they haven't had experience using, well, just like you said, but that they would have particular understanding of how things work with aged domains in particular. Well, of course, all are uh, great SEOs, affiliate marketers, and site builders, and you've been there for many years. Some of you have been doing this for as long as like 20 years or so, but there are a lot of people like there, great professionals, great pros, but they don't have this age domain building, one of the main criteria, as I mentioned. And by the way, for those listening out there, if you haven't about this mentorship program, if you sign up if you get access to the Odys marketplace and that you think will work great for you, for your niche, for your ideas, whatever, sure about anything related to it, you can always reach out to our mentors. You can, well, currently, there all of our mentors are listed in the expert picks tab on the. But we're going to rename it soon. It's going to be mentors. So yeah, you'll be able to get in touch with Angelo included, and get their expert advice. I mean, get you'll be able to get advice directly people who have successfully uh, built out on Odys domains in particular. Odys domains. I asked you to take a look at one of the domains. I'm gonna share it on the screen. Where is it? Okay. uh, so it's lazaroli.com. And a funny thing about this domain is that when I picked it today's exercise, let's say, I didn't think about like that it's going to be about pasta. It's related to Italy, and the first one who spotted that was Angelo, who said, "Oh, nice, you're having an Italian. We're having a domain about pasta." That was fun. So yeah, we got a perfect combo. So here's the domain. Just briefly go through it. So it's in the food or kitchen industry. It's 11. Has over 120 referring domains. I don't know how many authority links it has, but there are quite a few. I think you previously hosted a site of a restaurant serving Italian cuisine, obviously. And what is okay? Where is our recommendation? I don't see it. I don't see our recommendation. Okay, so yeah, I don't see our recommendation. Probably was something related to to Italian food, pasta in particular. Soon, you'll be able to see a video blooper from Jason Dolman right on the domain page in our marketplace. But right now, guys, I'll please share your thoughts and ideas about what you could do with this domain. How can you how would you monetize it if it was a domain you owned?
I feel we should let
Go
Angelo
on,
go
Angelo.
first. He's biting. He's desperate.
No, actually, Israel said had some good ideas, if I remember correctly. But my idea would be to share my Nona's recipes there, grandma's recipes, obviously. No, I'm kidding. So I don't know the industry so well to be fair. So I don't know exactly so many ways how to monetize it. My obvious thought is when I saw the domain, it's great domain, it's still indexed, get organic traffic. So at least as of Ahrefs. So I would say recipes, website recipes could be interesting. Perhaps going niching down into Italian recipes. So that would be my obvious thought. Um, Perhaps adding some affiliate links. I'm not sure if it could be that profitable linking to Amazon. Perhaps there are some private partnerships you could have. So this is my obvious take on it. And obviously, a lot of people are passionate about it, but I'm not so knowledgeable about the industry. I know that some people are making a killing with this kind of sites related to food, but that would be my take.
Hey, thank you.
I have looked at the domain. I really like the domain. Personally, I think it's a brandable domain. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's in Italian. It means something because I don't know that thing.
Doesn't mean
But
anything, but it's great. I like it as well. It sounds well.
okay, yeah. So I don't think we can really reinvent the wheel with that type of site. So it would be, of course, written with recipes because pasta, Italian, that's stuff that talk to me. But when I look at a domain, I always think how I will be able to monetize it, and I think it's where I have seen some great opportunities with that domain. First, that will be a website about recipes. And I think where will be a good fit for this project will be to create a newsletter where you could probably share a specific amounts of new recipes every week to build an audience of people that. And after that is to monetize this newsletter. So the way I got as an idea would be like, okay, I could probably track the cities where the subscribers are and then build an audience on that. And after that, let's say that you have, I don't know, 1,000 subscribers in New York, you could probably promote this to some restaurant owners, Italian restaurant owners in New York. And okay, today I have a decent amount of subscribers in these cities. They are all interested for Italian food, so it could probably be monetized that way. And also because the website was a restaurant, I think that it would be a good fit to have some landing page like best Italian restaurant in city and have this template over, and just over time you build your traffic like this and probably rent space to specific Italian restaurant as first spot. That will probably how I will try to monetize this, as well as with advertising because the recipes drive a lot of traffic. So I expect this to be a good innings also on the ads. So that will be probably how I will do it.
Cool.
Okay.
Speaking of what it means, just a second, Jason. Speaking of what it means, I think combination of lasagna and ravioli, and double Z from pizza.
I think, yeah, I agree. I think it's a
Yes.
great.
Sorry, Jason.
It's okay. I think it's a great brand name. I really do. Can I share my screen, Vlad?
Of course.
Okay, so what am I doing? Okay, let's go. Okay, so yeah, I would actually probably do something a little bit different with this to what I would normally do. So I am at the point where I really want to test out AI. So what I would probably do with this domain is I would probably, to begin with, I'd stick with pasta because when I looked at the site, it was predominantly pasta. It was a pasta restaurant, so I would probably stick pretty tightly to that. So I looked at kind of matching questions for pasta, low competition, keyword difficulty, sorry, maximum keyword difficulty of 15, DR kind of 30 or less for ranking pages that go for these terms, and there's about 1,300 terms, total keyword volume of about 115,000 per month. So I would probably go with an AI based approach to really blast out this topical cluster. There's going to be some duplicates in there, so I'd probably use ChatGPT or something like that to just to remove the duplicates, and then use a tool to create a load of content. I'm looking at auto blogging AI at the moment. I'm hearing some good things about that. It might not be a long-term strategy, but I'm seeing some good initial results. So that's what I would probably do, and then I would then go and alongside that, I'd do some human written content on pasta machines, makers, and so from a monetization point of view, I did find this program here, Taglia Pasta. This is 12% commission. I reckon you could probably get them up to 15% commission once you start getting some decent sales in for them. So that's obviously better than Amazon. I think it's a 30-day cookie. The requirements to join the program are pretty simple, just a food themed blog. So I think obviously the human written content, I would focus on the affiliate stuff, and then all the other info based content I would put display ads on. And then once we've done that, I would then look to build out other clusters. So things like pizza, sauces, recipes, salads, meats, toppings, that sort of stuff. But yeah, start with start with pasta, and then start to build out the others. That's what I would do. A mix of affiliate and display.
Yeah.
Wow, wow, that was that.
Need to be careful that AI gets it right.
Yeah,
or
well,
you
this
have
is it.
Italians
Yeah.
revolt.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there would be, wouldn't there? I won't be. I was saying I'm going to Sicily later in the year. I won't be allowed in. They'll stop me at passport
Yeah,
control.
yeah. Not even kidding.
All right, guys. All right. So, getting back to pretending if you were owning this domain, and let's say it really becomes successful, would you keep it or would you flip it?
If I can start personally, I flip all my
Sure.
website. I am a flipper. I think for an affiliate marketer, if you want to leverage and make money, you really have to take that route. I know that a lot of people really like to keep their website for a really long time, but for me, I prefer flips. So only when I have in this six figures amount, I just flip and start another project.
Yeah, I agree. It's also personality type. I like more to start something and not really that good at growing it afterwards, or it doesn't even interest me that much. So I'm more into, I would tend to be more over the idea of flipping.
See, usually I would say I would keep it, but based on the strategy that I gave, I would probably flip it. Just because with AI, you don't know. I think it is more risky. It's a riskier strategy, but obviously that's also going to impact your resale value, your multiple. So, yeah, typically I would personally keep it. I quite like to build up those monthly recurring revenues, but with something like an AI approach, I'll probably flip as well.
I think if you really want to keep a project, you really have to have a passion for the niche. Otherwise, it's
What I find challenging of keeping is that you tend to grow and grow the number of content that you've published in the past. So you have to update it, keep track of them, especially with AI. Perhaps you published a lot. And so it starts to be very challenging at some point. I was just wondering, How do you approach this, Jason?
So for me, one of the great things of bringing in this new editor is that she's systematically going to go through the existing content. But everything I've done so far has all been human written, so it is decent standard. It just there are going to be products that need to be updated and new concepts and things like that. Um, but yeah, she's going to be a big part of that. So far, it's been me going in at 6 to 12 month intervals to go in and update. 6 is ideal. I think 12 is probably where I usually end up doing it. But usually when I start to see the rankings drop, I'll go in and update and then they'll come back. But yeah, if you can do it ahead of that, I think every 6 months is probably enough. But to do that on your own, yeah, is tricky. If you've got someone that can go in and do it. But again, it's that trust, isn't it? And like you said, Angelo, it's finding the right person to be able to go in and do that and to do it to the standard that you would be happy with. Because it's, at this point, it's a big site that's doing well, it's making good money, and the last thing you want to do is for someone to go in and just bring it all down. So yeah, it's a difficult one. But that's going to be my approach.
Yeah, they say if they can do it 80% as much as you could do it, it's already all right. But for me, like that 20% sometimes really makes me like so that sometimes pisses you off, like when it doesn't get right. So it can be challenging. But yeah, interesting to your approach it, Jason.
Yeah, and considering the domain's backlink profile and Jason's strategy, like what would your forecast be for this domain site built on it? I mean, how soon would it start to rank? I know it depends on Google, pretty much, but still, like how soon would you expect it to start ranking? And uh, in what yeah, how soon would you be keen to flip it, and for how much? For instance, like
Well, if I can start personally flipping under
sure.
6 figure for me, it's not really interesting because you put a lot of effort and time in your project. You have at least to make 6 figure profit on your website. That's my goal at least. Uh, to start, I will, of course, the pasta is the main topics of that project. So I will probably try to start with different clusters of different subtopics and see what rank the best to start. And after that, focus on that specific subtopics first to drive traffic and start monetizing. Of course, affiliate content will be part of this because there's many projects. I have also seen Taglia affiliate when I did some research. Of
Yeah.
course, I'm trying to also to don't use Amazon if I can. The only advantage with Amazon is that you can target different countries and make still money. While when you go with private offers like Taglia, I think it's just like in the US market. So I think it depends of the type of content you have. For commercial stuff, hand projects, I will definitely probably go with private affiliates content like Taglia. I think they have some decent high price projects there. But yeah, that will be probably what I will do. I will do start a different type of subtopics and see where it ranks the best first and really focus air because the more traffic you have, the more you can scale with new content and start monetizing the website.
Yeah, I think in terms of how long it would take to rank, with my experience of age domains that have taken off, 2 to 3 months would be a kind of standard time frame. I think obviously it depends how much content you're putting out, but if if you've got maybe 30 to 50 pieces of content within those first 3 months, then I would expect to start to see ranking pretty soon. And like, don't panic either. I've had age domains that have done nothing for 2 or 3 months, and then all of a sudden, Google just
Yeah.
realizes this is it's come back to life, and there's a slightly different cluster, it's a slightly different topic, but it's close enough, and then and it's great. Yeah.
that
So
that's
don't
something
panic.
that that's something I have noticed really a lot. More recently, Google is taking a lot of time to like to give some ranking instructions. Like I have published clusters in December, and I think it's take like 2 months, almost nothing, and then bam, all my
Yeah.
keywords almost on first page. It take a while. It's like looks like that Google takes some time to analyze all the data from your site before giving you some traction. So it's important to give some time. People sometimes are impatient and okay, that's not a good topic, so we just move over. But normally, it's just you need to take some time to
I
wait to
think that's
Google
definitely a
to
common thing that people do give up too soon. Whether it's
yeah.
a fresh domain or an age domain, people just give up too soon. You've got to almost have that 12-month mindset. I mean, probably even with an age domain, but definitely with a fresh domain, you've probably got to have an 18-month mindset minimum before you even think about giving up. But most people, don't have that patience and do unfortunately give up. And then the other thing is, in terms of flipping it, you need a good solid amount of time to show those earnings. So
Mhm.
typically, you're going to need a minimum of a last 6 month average. But ideally, if you can have a 12-month average, because if it's a seasonal niche, or if people even suspect it might be seasonal, then they're not going to want to take a 6 month average, and you're just not going to get as high a multiple. So if you've got a last 12-month average, that's the best way to go. The problem is, you probably, what you tend to see is your earnings go up month on month on month. So you've got to kind of wait until your earnings plateau almost to get your best return. So once you've kind of reached almost a ceiling in terms of earnings, if you can have 12 months consistency after that, that's the perfect point for me. That's the perfect point to sell, because you've benefited from that 12-month of earnings, and you're also benefiting from that average multiple of last 12 months, which is going to get you the best return. So you're probably
Yeah,
going to need it for a couple of years. So it's going to be post SGE, I'm afraid.
yeah, and you have to think also to the investor that want to buy those websites. They want stability. They want to see 6 months is for me. It's not enough. I will probably wait to buy a website with more history. And when you
Yeah.
want to flip in the 6 figure and over, like MP flippers or whatever, they have 12 months because I think it's what investor want and it
Yeah.
just makes sense to me.
Yeah, cool. Thank you for sharing this. Uh, we're about to wrap up, so guys, thank you very much for this conversation. It was packed with amazing information, and yeah, I didn't manage to take any notes, so
Watch the
it's empty.
recording.
But yeah, I will definitely get back to it, listening to it. Really to our convo and all of the knowledge bombs you dropped today. So yeah, once again, thanks. Everyone listening, make sure to channel, like the video, and share it to your friends, I don't know, colleagues, whoever, family and dogs, doesn't matter. Um, and yeah, if you haven't yet received, if you haven't yet gotten access to Odys Marketplace, just head to Odys. Request access and you'll get accepted pretty quickly. You'll be able to check the domains that we have in our inventory. All of them are vetted and have gone through a very strict due diligence process. And yeah, if you want to check the domain we've been talking about here, it's right in the description below. Um, Also, if you have any domains collecting virtual dust that you haven't use or decided that you'd rather focus on other projects, you can also sell them through us. Through so go to sell.odys.global, select your domain or domains for sale, and our team will get back to you shortly. What else? Yeah, next week we're going to be joined, as I already mentioned, by um, Rick Zullo and Dean Scaduto. So it's going to be another round of great. So make sure to join. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, and see you next time.